Hello, my name is Dana Halpin and I'm with Veracruz Bloom Computer Consulting. Today I will be reviewing the Sage Intelligence Connector module for Sage 100. Veracruz Bloom Computer Consulting has been selling and implementing Sage products for over 30 years and is one of the top Sage 100 solution providers in the country. We are dedicated to helping our clients continuously improve and have industry expertise that comes from years of experience and real-world knowledge. You may have joined us on a previous video where we talked about the Sage Intelligence Report Manager module. Today, we're drilling down on the connector module. In your Sage 100 program, under the modules menu for Sage Intelligence, under the setup menu, we have the connector module. The connector module is purchased with your Sage 100 subscription as a site license, meaning you only have to purchase it once. With this site license, you will be able to connect to multiple unlimited ODBC data sources, even outside of Sage 100, to consolidate information from other areas of your business or from multiple companies. The purpose of the connector module is for customers to be able to consolidate companies, meaning you have more than one company code in Sage 100 and you want to create consolidated financials or consolidated reports with the sales order, purchase order, operations management module, the AR, AP, any module within Sage 100 can be used and connected through the connector module. So the purpose is to be able to connect to multiple companies as well as be able to design and create your own reports. And these modules that are included are not going to be able to be used if you just have the free report manager license. If you have the free report manager license with your subscription, you're only going to be able to run your general ledger reports. The sales purchases reports that come canned and 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 bundled with Sage Intelligence does have connections in the connector module, but you're not going to be able to get to them without the license. So, for example, this is a canned sales folder that comes with Sage Intelligence. They give you the customer sales 2.8 report. If I made a copy of that, which I did up here, and I double clicked on it, there's a source container in here called customer sales 1.1. Now, I have the connector license, which means I could go into this and I can maybe add another table to it. I can add more expressions to it and do all that good stuff. But if I didn't have the connector license, I'd have to just take what it gives me, and that would be these columns, and that's it. So if I wanted to add more or do any kind of custom reporting, I would need to purchase the connector license. So with that being said, every report in the report manager comes with a container. So we saw that that particular sales one had a container. If I were to go into some of these types of reports in here, customer no sales in this period. This anytime you click on a report, double click on the source container, this is the container. Now the container is in what we call the connector module. So if I right clicked on the report and I went to go to container and connector, that'll open up the connector module. Now I certainly could have got there from my Sage 100 menu as you saw on the setup menu, but by doing it this way, this goes right to that container that I was interested in. So this is the connector module. It has all these different connections that you can make and save to be used over and over again. The two connections that come with the program are the Sage Mass Auto Connect for one company in Sage 100 or the Sage Mass Consolidation if you were consolidating many companies. Under my Auto Connect, you'll see I have all these containers already built. We design custom reports for many of our customers, and we have all these different containers that we can use over and over again. We can save them, we can export them and import them into our customers' install for them to be able to use them as well. So each one comes from tables that are being connected through Sage 100, or if you wanted to, like I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to connect to a database outside of Sage 100, they do give you all these other connection abilities. There is all these ODBC drivers, and they have different containers in here that might be useful to you if you wanted to connect into something else. We do have some people that use this to connect into like a Starship database and things like that. So let's get back to the auto connect here. These are all my connections, and that one particular report that we were looking at has the ability to be customized now because I do have the connector modules. So this is customers, no sales this period, and that's S100. So if I come back into the connector, jump down here, and we do customers, no sales this period. Here it is here. You'll see that this is a SQL join, and it's joining the customer salesperson's history to the AR customer to, let's pull this in here. There's lots of different joins on here to the AR invoice history header, the GL fiscal year detail. There's just a lot going on here. And this is an example of a SQL join. Now, if you do not know SQL, you don't have to worry. You can set up these joins and these connections without having any SQL knowledge. It does come in handy though, to do some type of expressions with SQL. We did experience a situation where the customer had just so much data, we had to filter it on the back end in the connector module to be able for it to even run out in Report Manager. And our SQL skills did come into play there. But most of the time, you won't need any SQL experience to create these custom type of reports. I'll just demonstrate real quick how to create a custom container. I'm clicking on my Mass Auto Connect here. I'm clicking Add Data Connector or Container. I have these choices. I can just have one table. I could do a SQL join with multiple tables. I could do a view for a query. I could do a graphical join, which is very similar to Crystal reports when you're linking tables. I could do a stored procedure or a SQL query. Let's go with the graphical join. And I'm just going to do like a sales order open. I'll just do SO open and I'll click OK. And now I named it and it's appearing underneath my auto connect, but I don't have any tables in here yet. So I have to click graphical join tool. And these are all the tables within Sage 100. Now, if you're not familiar with the tables and the schema for fields and things like that, all you have to do is come back into Sage 100. This is just a tip here, and go into web content and go into resources. And then all the way down at the bottom right, you see file layouts and program information. This will bring up in the web file layouts. And if I come down here and I go into sales order, I can pull up my sales order header table just to see what type of information and columns and the length of the columns and the data types are in this table. So this is very helpful if you're not familiar with the tables in Sage 100, and it'll help you when you're picking them and the expressions as well. So let's just join the sales order header and detail table to make this simple for us. We'll do the open one, sales order header, sales order detail, and say okay. Now I could have joined 4, 5, 6 tables if I wanted to. I'm just making this easy for us right here. And I'm just going to link these by the sales order number and click apply. You have the ability to have the inner join, outer join, or full outer join. This one's just an inner join. And I'm going to click apply. And now I have my SO open 2 tables. It's very simple. And even though I did a graphical join, it will display the SQL join as well down here. Once I click the SO open again, I need to add expressions. I need to add fields and what I want in this report. So I come up to my ribbon, I click add expressions. 4 types of expressions you can add. Data fields, which are data fields from the tables. SQL expressions that would be the ability to possibly, like I mentioned earlier, filter or do some sort of SQL expression to condense the data before it gets to Report Manager. An Excel formula is great because you can do your VLOOKUPs, your if statements, your calculations right here in the connector. That way, when you run the report out in Report Manager, dumps the data in Excel, those formulas are already there for you and they're already calculated. The last one, pass-through variable. A pass-through variable is nice if you have multiple reports in a union report. They all need the same date parameter, for example. Instead of the user having a pop-up come up for the date parameter 4 times because there's 4 reports, it only comes up once because you're passing that date parameter through to the other 4 reports. So this is a great time saver, and we use this quite a bit. So let's just add some data fields here. I'm going to check both tables, and it lists all the fields within those tables. You would expect the header table to come up first, but it's alphabetical. So the detail table does show before the header table. You could certainly double click on it and then look at the data like this. I'm going to go for the sales order number, order date, order type, air, division, customer, bill to name, and then we're gonna go to my detail table, and I want the item, the description, the quantity shipped, like this, makes it easy. Quantity ordered, quantity shipped, unit price, unit cost, extension. It's nice when it's alphabetical, you can find things quickly. And that's it. So I'm going to say okay. Now, in my sales order open, I have all of these fields in here. I'm going to just quickly add an expression, which is an Excel expression, just to show you how that works. So we could say total cost, right? Total cost is going to be an easy formula, just taking the quantity. Remember, this is a sales order open table, so I'm not really going to do quantity shipped. Quantity ordered times times unit cost. And I should note that there shouldn't be any spaces in there for it to work. Quantity ordered times quantity shipped. I'm sorry, quantity ordered times unit cost. So we have our Excel formula in here. When I click on it, you'll see the formula right here. And I could also create other expressions in here, but for simplicity and time purposes today, we're just going to do the one. Now I have my container, I have my expressions, I'm ready to add it into the Report Manager module. And I come into my Report Manager module, I pick the folder I want to add it to. I click Add Report. It's just a one report, so it's a standard report. And I'm just going to call it S. Now, you may not remember what you named the report, so it's good to point out that each report or each container has an ID associated with it. This list here is all my containers from the connector module. So let's say I don't remember what I named it. I come back to the connector module and I see that it's report 314. So back into Report Manager, and I can find report 314 by double clicking the ID. And let's go down here to the threes, and here it is right there. So I'm going to pick that container. It's going to pull in all my expressions. So I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to say okay. Now these expressions come in as columns in Report Manager. Now from here, you could take your Report Manager skills and you can filter, you could put date parameters on here and all that good stuff. You could move columns up or down and do the sorting as well. I'm really not going to do any of that. We're just going to run this out just so you can see that the ease of creating a connector is simple. coming into the data that was just dumped into Excel, here it is. So we have all the fields in here. Coming in here, here's my formula for total cost. And then, we have the extension for the price, the cost, and we can do a quick gross profit on this. For the gross profit formula, I can create that in the connector module as well, and as well as a gross profit percentage so people can see how they're doing on their open orders. So that's basically it for how to connect and create the source containers for Report Manager. Every report that you run out of Report Manager has the information being dumped most likely in sheet 1 for the report. Here's an example of a purchases dashboard, which looks great. It's got slicers, it has charts, and it looks rather complicated, but really all it's doing is taking the information from your container that's dumped on sheet 1, and you use your advanced Excel skills to create those pivot charts, pivot tables to make it look real pretty. So this is an example. There is a sales dashboard that looks great. This is financial information as well as, adding in some information for your top 5 customers, expenses, bottom 5 customers. So this is a great example of adding in some GL data and some sales data in here on the same report. I do want to show you another one that's pretty cool for a CFO. This is a health check, financial health check ratio type of report. All the CFO has to do for this is come in here and enter in all their benchmarks. So they define all their benchmarks in here, and the formulas just take over, and the pivot charts and things like that. So we have the ability to create all this, and it's really just coming from the connector module and these hidden tabs, right? The accounts and the beginning balances and all that good stuff. So your dashboards are very easily created in Excel based on your ability to customize connections and bring them into Report Manager. So if you want more information on how to get the connector module registered and installed on your system, you can certainly give us a call. We have the ability to set up some training for you, as well as we can do a report together and have some one-on-one training. When we do the training, we get a report done for you. We have the ability to guide you in a way if you needed some recommendations on how to get the report to run faster, how to filter the data, and make it more advantageous when the actual end user is actually doing it and they're not waiting a long time. We can also help, as I think we might have mentioned in the report manager presentation, on how to set up these reports to be automatically distributed as well. So hope you enjoyed the presentation of the connector module, and be happy to connect with you, no pun intended, to discuss further to see if it's a good fit for your company. Thank you.